Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I don't know if this video is going to be a story time or an advice video or just general discussion video. I'm just gonna talk about this as it's coming to my heart. So I think a few weeks ago, shortly before I did my assumption tag video with Bayo, by the way, shout out to you guys that watched that video. The comments were amazing. You guys like juice. In 2 days that video had almost 5k views. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I love it, kudos, and this is the trend, especially on YouTube with my videos or even other people's videos. When we talk about stuff like, self-education, business, like Bible studies, how to be a better person, we get views, but once you see love, relationship, interracial couple, pregnancy announcements, people just, people love content like that. And I don't know why that is. We all talk about I'm not saying that those videos you don't learn from them or whatnot, or you don't love people's lives, but I would also like we keep the same energy when it's self-development videos and also fun marriage-based videos. I think the world would be a better place if people actually binged watched or found interest in content that help you to improve as a person as well. I'm not saying those videos you can't get like subtle lessons from it, especially because I know a lot of my viewers are women and the insights don't lie. You guys, we need to do better. I'm not saying you should not watch my videos, but when you see videos that help you as a person as well, make sure you watch that. Just a mental note so that we can always support people, not even support, invest in our own selves as well as people and watch content like that as well with the same energy. Basically, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna go right into the video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the transition from 9 to 5 into running a business. My own personal story, my own personal experience. I'm not sure I've shared this on my YouTube channel before. Those that know me personally know this, and those that follow me on Instagram may have seen little information about that. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm going to talk about the things that happened, the things I wish I did better, the things that I'm grateful that I did, and all that good stuff, and just general gist about it. So if you'd like to know more, definitely keep watching. Okay. I've never shared this on my channel, like talking about maybe my 9 to 5 experience, because it was like a stint. I wouldn't say it was like 4 years or 5 years working in a bank or whatever. Especially as someone in my assumption video said I was a banker. I didn't put out in the video, but I said that on Instagram. No, I've never been a banker before. I would understand why they would think that, but anyway, moving on swiftly. I graduated from university 2011. Yes, so that was 8 years ago. Hello. It will be 8 years exactly next month that I graduated from university. And I would say my first job working experience prior to that was obviously interning at my dad's company. My dad is an accountant. He has his own accounting firm. So I've always worked there, supported. So I think by the time I was already in third year, I probably had a lot of experience. I'm not talking about like IT, like the industrial training you had to do, or like, holiday jobs. I'm talking about like I've always, since my dad started the company, I've always worked there. So right from time, I've always known about maybe how to file. I knew about documents. I knew like you had to save documents in a particular way so that it's easy for people to retrieve. I knew about source document. And obviously, working with an accounting firm, there's some things that they don't teach you in school. Like you learn on the job. Like as I said, the previous examples that I said. So I already had that kind of corporate mindset. The way I sent emails was definitely more professional than most people. So pardon me, I think the sun is going to be going in and out through this video, but yeah, I'm just saying that just so that you don't complain. So I would say I already had that experience, but upon graduation, the more I spent time, working for my parents or working for my dad, and I had best of both worlds. My mom has been a full-time entrepreneur since I would say she was a kid, or since she was a teenager. So she worked in a bank for many years and then she resigned, I think when I was about maybe 8 years old or 9 years old, if I faintly remember. I think I was about to enter high school when she quit her job, or yeah, thereabouts. I think that's when she quit her job. So she's always been, so I had the opportunity of staying with my mom at a store, handling raw cash, speaking with customers, asking people what they want. And I also had the experience of sitting down in a corporate environment, bending down, reconciling bank statements with computer records and whatnot. So I had the best of both worlds. So because I had that background experience, I already had the back of my mind when I was in uni that what, I studied accounting, by the way. I am not going to practice accounting. So when my mates were, in their third year, they were writing the ICANN exams, or even after graduation, they were writing. And I wasn't a bad student, guys. You know, I wasn't a bad student. I was on a. If you haven't watched my academics video, definitely go and watch it. So I'm not gonna say I was a good student. I was academically sound. I was a good student. I didn't give my parents worries until something happened, but God elevated us from that situation. So make sure I'll try and maybe insert the card here. So go and watch that video about my school experience as well. So I already knew that I wasn't going to, you know, practice accounting, and I wasn't going to join my dad in the firm and start working with as an accountant. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't as creative. I'm a creative person. I'm very good with my hands. So I didn't think there was any way that I was able to going to express my I would say my likes, my desire in the corporate world in my myopic sense that time. So when I left school, when everybody was keen on, you know, looking for jobs, my National Youth Service, I was a teacher, one of the best experiences of my life. As you guys can tell, I always say that one of my strong gifts is teaching. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy speaking to people. I enjoy telling someone A plus B is equals to this, and the person gets it. I have so much joy when people say, I learned this from you. I enjoy teaching. That's why I would say even my YouTube videos, I always ensure that at the end of my YouTube videos, you can say, okay, you know what, I learned this by watching this content. Yeah. So I taught as for my National Youth Service. So when, you know, my friends or my colleagues were hustling to look for jobs in ministries, look for jobs in, don't let me say hustle, pardon my choice of word, you know, they were keen on looking for jobs in corporate establishments. I did not mind being a teacher. When I saw my call-up letter and I was posted to a school in Ekpe, which was literally like an hour drive from my house, I did not mind. I went there with joy. I closed by 3 o'clock. When the students come and hug me in the morning, like, oh, Sister Tosin, it was like I was fulfilling my purpose. I loved it so much. So that's that. After that was done, obviously, reality set in. I needed a job. You know, my dad was giving me allowance. I'm not going to take that away from him. Thank you so much, Daddy. He was giving me allowance every month. So it wasn't like I was in a situation where if I did not get a job, I would die. I was only getting a job because obviously progression, right? So I started thinking about it. I put out my CV on some websites that then I was in Nigeria. Nothing was really coming up. And along the way at that period as well, I was also applying to come for my master's. So I was saying, okay, you know what? If the job comes, I'll do it for like 3 months and then I'll leave. If it doesn't come, I'll just wait out till it's time for me to move. So I think during that period, I was just going to my dad's office, you know, working there unofficially, helping him, you know, following him for meetings, just stuff like that. And then the admission came for me to come here to the UK. I came. Now, during my master's program, which I would say was one of the best experiences of my life as well, it was a time of self-discovery. So those 2 years, or I'll say 1 year, 6 months that I spent here, I was able to, you know, find out my likes. That's when I started YouTube proper. That's where, so I think my second ever YouTube video was done here. My first one was in Nigeria. So if you scroll back my channel, you will see that my first actual video was here. My proper video was done here in the UK. I started my YouTube video. I started a business. If I talk about the business story, this video will be like 40 minutes, so I'm not going to do that. So I started a business, which was okay because obviously my blog was getting a lot of I had a fashion blog, so I used to style. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have remembered me from those times. I used to, you know, every Sunday I would dress up after church. I would dress up for church. After church, I'll start my pictures. So I was getting a lot of followership from those platforms. And I realized that anything I talked about, people say, Tosin, where can I buy it from? Where can I get it from? So I decided, you know what, I was going to start. And I've always liked hair, guys. So I remember that the first thing I would say that I actually sold were wigs. I used to buy hair from, you know, like synthetic hair, actually, not even human hair. I really liked really big curly hair. If I find pictures, I will insert them. If I don't find, sorry. So I would buy hair from, like, hair that was like maybe 40 pounds, 60 pounds, you know, synthetic hair, all those Vanessa Williams wigs, Diva wigs. People say Tosin's hair is so nice, so I would buy them, you know, add a markup of like maybe 10 pounds, send it to Nigeria, send it even in the UK to people. So I was like, all right then, you're really good at this, because I enjoyed it. When someone tells me, Tosin, I want to buy this, like my eyes will light up. I'll be like, okay. Now, I had sold before when I was in uni, but nothing, just maybe when I go on holiday, I travel for summer, maybe I have 10 of one top, someone tells me, oh Tosin, can I have this top, and then I sell it. Nothing professional. So obviously with the mini wig business of me buying and selling, let's say I sold about 20 wigs, give or take, 20 or 30. that period, give or take. And I would say I made about, let me say, £200, right? Or £300. So I thought that, oh, okay. And as a student, I was here, I was receiving allowance. As I said, I wasn't paying any bills. I had money to put back into something. So I started thinking, like, you know what? My master's is about to come to an end. Do I want to stay here to work? I had not met my husband, so I didn't have any reason to remain in the UK. I like my life in Nigeria. I had a very high level of independence. So I wasn't, so when people were here, like, you know, people were really fasting and praying to get jobs in the UK for them to be retained. I was counting back to go back to my country. I didn't want a job. If I had gotten a job, yes, obviously my parents were like, maybe just try, put out some application. Funny story. So I did put out an application. I put it on Indeed. And I think the first time I put my CV up, literally like in 3 days, I got a call back from some company. I went to the city center in Glasgow. The, what's it called? Orientation was so attractive. Oh, you know, this headhunter, you did this, you did that. You guys, I got the job. I quit on the first day. Literally, I didn't even tell my parents because my father would have just screamed. I quit on. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do this. We're walking up and down city center, walking up, just like, nah. And I'm not gonna take away the fact that I think a little bit of privilege had to do with it. Maybe if I was here in the UK where I needed to, you know, augment my rent, I needed to pay for my own allowance myself, maybe I won't have the audacity to quit that job. Maybe I would have said, you know, let me just do it for like a month, you know, so I can pay my rent. I had the luxury of being able to say, you know what, I had that luxury. So I'm not going to come and say, oh, I was so self-aware, that's why I quit the job. No, if I quit the job, I will not starve. So I think that's why I quit the job, because I wasn't cut out for it. So that went, started the business and the wig business. After a while, obviously, I was time to go back home. So let me say 3 months to go back home. I started thinking, I said, you know what, I like makeup. Then eyelashes were raining, not like now. I'm talking about, this was 2013, guys. This was 6 years ago. So I said, okay, you know what, let me start an eyelash brand. I did my research. I spoke to some vendors. I designed the packaging, and they came. I put money into it. I put about, I don't want to say the figure so you guys don't think that, start asking where did you get the money from. But I could put quite a lump sum of money in it. So I had saved, as I said, I was a student. I didn't have any bills. So my allowance every month, I was saving at least, I think, £150 every month for my allowance. And I had saved for a while. So I had saved enough to buy almost 1,000 pieces of lashes. So you do the math. Yeah? And in fact, I didn't even have enough money because I had a minimum order quantity. And maybe if I had done better research, maybe I would have found vendors that could charge me less. Let me see if I can even find the lashes. So I always like to keep you know, things that I make for, so that it's part of my success story. Yeah, eventually when we blow, like the special grace of God. So yeah, this was the lashes that I made initially, and it was called Eco Lashes. It was just in a box. The lash was here. I had like a scripture. It was Songs of Solomon 1:15. Check it out. Behold, you're beautiful, my love. Behold, you're beautiful. Your eyes are those. So it was mink lashes. It was like premium quality mink lashes by my blog name then. So this was the lash that this was the first. And you guys, look at this packaging. This was 6-7 years ago. This wasn't like the way every Tom, Dick and Harry did now. So I did this. I sold a lot in the UK. And not from friends and family. I said I put it on eBay. I put it on our own company website then. I marketed it like with my chest. And as God will have it, the period where I was moving back to Nigeria, a new e-commerce website was opening in Nigeria. It was like the Amazon of Nigeria, which was Konga then. So we were they were signing up vendors for free, really. You guys, that was like, I'll say, one of the pinnacles of my career, of my business career. Let me say it that way because I'm still very young. So yeah, so I put it on that platform and we did quite really well. Like I sold hundreds, like, in fact, you know your business is doing well when you sell something and then you're restocking, right? So we're selling a lot. I had other styles. Now this was mink lashes, and I noticed that in Nigeria, people did not really, makeup artists did not want this. They wanted lashes that were cheaper. I think I sold this for, let me say, 2,500 then, which was, as at that time, £5 now. Yeah, so £5 now as at that time. So I decided to come up with a smaller range of lashes, which was cheaper, equally nice. That one even sold even better because people could buy in bulk. So let me just drop this so I can focus. So I did that for a while, and then One day randomly, I was just driving in Lekki. I was going to drop off in Lagos. I was going to drop off my lashes for a customer. And then I still used to do some deliveries myself because logistics company was not as good as it is now. And then I met one of my high school, my uni friends rather. And I was just like, hi. And she's like, hi, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm going to drop off lashes. She's like, oh, is this what you do? I'm like, yeah, this is what I do for a living. Like, oh, are you not going to get a 9 to 5 job? I'm like, oh, well, not really. This business is bringing money for me. I want to build it up. And also I was still getting allowance from my parents and I was living at home, so I felt like I had the luxury to focus on my business. And she's like, oh, I'm like, oh, what are you doing there? She was just walking on the road. She was like, oh, that our company is just right by the road, that she just joined the firm, that our boss would totally like me, that I should totally give her my CV. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, oh yeah, sure. So that evening I sent her my CV. You guys, they called me like maybe say the following week. I had an interview with the boss and I resumed the job like a week later. Worst decision of my life, guys. When I say worst, well, non-expedient decision of my life. You guys, the company, I learned a whole lot. I'm not gonna lie. I worked there for like, I'm not gonna give the periods because it's just too much information. I worked there for a while. I was working there. Everything was okay. The boss was promiscuous. It was inappropriate. He used to hit on me. He used to hit on everybody. He used to send you most inappropriate text messages. They used to owe salaries. And that's the thing about one-man business. And this business was, funny story. You guys, one time we're at work and policemen literally came to like lock up office. Our boss had eloped. All of us were in front of the company waiting, struggle, like, story for another day, man. The company lacked structure basically. And ideally, it would have been an excellent job for the time that I was there. But I know that while I was there, I made really amazing friends. I had the opportunity to meet lots of people. I went to places that, maybe because I had a good relationship with the boss, regardless of the inappropriate behavior. Like, I was able to go to places that ideally I knew that I probably wouldn't have gone on my own. So I had good exposure. I mean, it was a good place if there had been more structure and the boss was more professional. Yeah. So I started working from there, and these all salaries. And by the way, I was still running my business. So during my lunch break, I would, go drop off my orders. After on weekends, I would do that as well. So everything was going okay. Then I think one of the days, I think the day I had the last straw was when I think I had an accident with my car. Yeah. I had an accident in my car on a day that I had no business going to do what they had asked me to do at work. Something along those lines. I'm just like, you know what? Tosin, your business was already making you your salary, really. Your salary that was really old, was being old. I was already making that same. You guys, it was so bad that my colleagues at work one of my colleagues at work like asked me for loans from work because I had inflow of cash and a lot of them were dependent on their salaries that were not being paid. So it was so bad. Literally was so bad. So I was just like, you know what, this is time for you to focus on your business. Along the way, I think the lash business started going down. I realized that maybe China became more accessible because I was getting my lashes from China. People did not really used to buy as much as before. The business was just dwindling down, and then I started developing other interests. I'm advertising lashes. I don't even care for lashes like that. You know what I mean? Like, I realized that, I needed a business that I felt like people could not do without. You know what I mean? I wanted a business that I felt like I could see the impact of my business. I wanted a business that maybe I was empowering people. So even if I was going to do makeup, I wanted a business where I was selling makeup tools that I knew that people would be blessing God and be like, thank God for this X and Y business. Like, they provide me all the things that I need for my business. And I did not and that's for another person. I did not feel that level of impact with that lash business. It was just a cash cow for me. And I felt like, as God will have it, it wasn't even as vibrant on the long run as it was because the world became a global village, and I had no unique selling points really besides being like first movers advantage. So obviously when business started, a lot of people started doing the same thing. So I realized that, it was time to think quick on my feet. So along those lines, I started developing my skills. I was able to do other things. God gave me the idea of the present business that I'm doing now. I started doing that business, and the difference was clear. I felt like it was more impactful as a business. There was more structure. I made better decisions. So in that moment, I realized that, you know what? If I would ever work for someone as 9 to 5, I needed to be in a job where I would be able to also be heavily invested in my business, which is I want to be an employer of labor. And this is not the same for another person. This is just my own this is my own journey. And I think that I want a business where I would be able to build, and I feel like I felt like, or I still feel like now, that I can eat my cake and have it. I don't want someone working for me and all they are thinking in their mind is how they're going to run their business. You know what I mean? I want someone that is equally committed. So even as I'm here in Glasgow, as I'm running my business and doing all my other endeavors, I also, if I decide, if I ever, because never say never, if I decide to be an employee of something, I would want a job where I'm interacting with people, where I have time to focus on my business. I don't want a full-time job. I want a job where I want to be like a mom to my kids when I have children. I want a job where, just like my mom, like she was able to balance that effectively. She knew when to quit. And I think that's not the journey for everyone. My dad was an employee for the longest time before he decided to start his own firm. He started his firm, I think, in his late 40s. He had paid his dues. So not everyone has their own, not everyone is an entrepreneur, and that's okay. So I'm going somewhere, so you can tell that I'm trying to rush this video. But I'll say this is the part 1 of my transition into full-time business. So this was when I kind of realized that this is what I'm meant to be doing, which is to be a business owner. This is what I am meant to be doing. And the funny thing is, some people try business and they fail, and they realize that I'm not meant to do this right now for this stage in my life, or I'm not even meant to do this at all. So it just, this journey has just really taught me that you need to know yourself, you need to know what God has called you to be, because that's the only way you will not struggle. Or even when struggle comes, you're able to still do it and say, you know what, I'm meant to be doing this, and you're propelled. That's why copycats never last, because when you're copying someone's clock to work, when it storms, you won't be able to stand the test of time, because God did not give you that vision. There's no burning desire in your heart. You're only doing it because this is what is raining now. Yeah? So that's about it for this video. Let me know in the comment box, leave your questions, so that when I'm filming a part 2, it's more informed. Let me know what you want to know. Ask me the questions. So say, I would like to know X, X, and Y. I would like to know the first 5 mistakes you made. Whatever it is, let me know in the comment box below, and I will be sure to film this video for you. So yeah, I'm going out now, so my husband is waiting for me. So yeah, make sure you leave your comments. Make sure you do. Until next time, stay blessed. Bye-bye.